Hello, one. Hello, all. It is me, CP. Well, actually, we're gonna roll with Charles today because there's nothing entertaining about what we're gonna be talking about. Welcome to episode 26 of WILI Interviews. My guest you cannot see, but you'll be able to hear. It is Robyn. Robyn, why don't you tell us about yourself? Because we have the equivalence of a blind person right now. So run amok and tell us who you are, how you are, and how this all got together, or
Well,
not.
I guess I'll start the way that AA taught me. Can you not hear me?
Yeah, I heard. I hear you. Hi, Robyn. Did you? Did you?
Is it working
Yeah. Now it is.
now?
Yeah. Yes. Now.
Okay, good. All right. I'm Robyn and I'm an alcoholic. I'm an addict. And it ruined my life for a while and I had to bounce back from that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still, it's something that doesn't really go away. So it's something I have to commit to every day that, I can't use or drink because it can kill me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
So we kind of got in the same Venn diagram. I did a show you do with Mike over on the B side of horror, where he talks about, or you guys, excuse me, talk about mental health and horror. And I have been diagnosed. I only once. I have not gotten a second opinion because I'm pretty sure they're right, and I don't want to hear it again. I've been diagnosed with Lewy body dementia, which is a disease that just slowly eats your brain away. It's what Robin Williams was posthumously diagnosed with, and it for a lot of people it just acts like depression. It's something that feels like depression, but it's a disease that just eats away at your brain, and your memory becomes shit. And I could certainly attest to that. But there's certainly a ton of other stuff. CPTSD I have as well, which is exciting. That's always fun, trying to go to bed and have your own personal head movies that are the scariest thing in existence, and you lived them. Um, how uh, I I don't like using something. I told you about this about me last time. Something I don't like putting things into words, because I think words are just so they're just so a box. Calling somebody an addict it's just there's so much more to it than that. Than yeah.
absolutely.
Anything, any word. I mean, other shit, even human. There's way more to a human than just calling somebody a human. But um, I had a
Absolutely.
dependence. I had a dependence on pain medication, and slowly but surely, when shit went south, I wasn't using it for pain, and you certainly can call that an addiction. I wasn't, you know, first of all, you get this dependence, and then your body says, "Hey, it doesn't matter how the fuck your spine feels. We need that shit. Otherwise, it's the worst flu you've ever experienced." Time. Um, and there's
Yeah.
that, and then on top of that, when you feel like shit, things like my DOC, which is drug of choice for non NAAA affiliated people. What was oxycodone.
Oh,
I I was what you would call a what do you call that when you can do things like an operational addict?
uh,
A
functional.
functional addict.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
I was.
I'm sorry.
I said I was never that.
Oh, really? Okay.
No.
Yeah, I developed into what you would call a dysfunctional addict. Things went south. My father committed suicide. My wife at the time didn't know how to handle it, and support was a word that I don't think that person ever looked up. So my the support system I found was, well, these things right here, they seem to make everything less. I don't know how to explain painkillers if you're not really in too much pain. It's just kind of like life muters, or it's just like turning the
Yeah,
volume down on everything that's going on around you, and you
yeah,
just
they are.
go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
They were my drug of choice too. They just, I don't know. There was, I mean, I still love them. I'm not gonna lie. I can't have them though. It
Yeah,
is a warm, gooey feeling. It starts
yeah,
in your stomach and just it's amazing.
yeah. There's that weird like 2 minutes of like I used to call it like the tingles, where you just get it up and down your body, where it's just like, oh yeah, no, this is good, this is all right. I don't care what happens for the next 90 seconds, because this is kind of okay. Um,
Um, it makes
uh,
social and friendly and
yes, in the
functional.
beginning,
It makes me get up and go.
yeah.
Yes, and then you sit down and you
And that you
then
slowly just
then you're
nod
falling
off.
asleep at Thanksgiving.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Uh,
In front of
um,
your
so feel free to put the brakes on anything, but how what my venture, uh, well, I had a really fucked up childhood, and that started the CPTSD. So that, mentally I was a goner from 12. But as far as the dependence addiction is concerned, it didn't start until like the mid 20s. Was there an event? Did you have some sort of uh, uh, um, medical situation, or did you just say, "Hey, it's fun time"? What got you there? I
hello.
guess.
Oh my goodness, the internet.
Oh, the internet is how you got into it.
Oh, I can't. Sorry, it lagged out and I couldn't hear you.
You didn't hear me. How did you get into uh um I like, nobody just wakes up and says, you know what, I'm gonna just destroy my life, and just it's just write
Well,
off everything that is responsible, and I'm gonna make a hard left and destroy everything. What was your journey?
it was just like an insidious thing. I think it started. when I was a teenager. I think I smoked pot for the first time when I was 13, which I
Mm-hmm.
still do. I find it useful in coping.
Mm-hmm.
But I started drinking, I think, when I was 13. And it's just, I had these friends that would get things. We lived really close to New Orleans, so we could get things easily. And
Mm.
I would just experiment and do things. And then, alcoholism is what got me, I think, the most out of
Really?
all of them, yes, even though opiates were my drug of choice, it was alcoholism that got me.
Mm-hmm.
And it came on just slowly. I mean, I thought, and I had children too. I thought I could have a glass of wine while they were taking a nap, and I was folding clothes and watching TV. And
Mm-hmm.
sooner or later, it just became where an everyday thing, and then all day, every day. It just came on slowly. It was a downward spiral.
Yeah. How did that affect your relationship with your children?
Um, it I thought at first it made me a better mother, because when you do these things, you're so deluded, and you think it makes you perform better or do your job better, when in all actuality things are beginning to fall apart. And I think it became almost like neglect. It really did, because I got to a point where I couldn't even take care of myself. And
Oh,
I think at the time, yeah, I mean, at the time, I think it, it was just, I think at the time it was just, I just really couldn't connect with anybody. I was so sick. I mean, just so sick.
how old were your kids, if you don't mind me asking?
At the time, I want to say they were 4 and 2.
And how is did you have help raising them, or like because that sounds like juggling chainsaws there,
Yeah.
dealing with your own personal stuff and having that amount of responsibility.
Um, I was married at the time. I had
Okay.
their father, but I didn't. It was a strange relationship. He didn't allow me access to the finances or anything, so I really couldn't provide for my children in a way financially.
Mm-hmm. A question from the chat, Sky. Hi, Sky. Uh, Miss Robyn, did you happen to come from a religious background?
Semi. My mom, we went to church a few times, and I remember being just absolutely terrified of church. Church creeped me out. I didn't want to shake hands. I didn't want to, the whole affair just gave me the creeps.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And in the South too, where it's pretty hardcore down there, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, and my family is Baptist, so it's pretty,
You
it's
see,
pretty,
I have
it's
no
something.
idea what the difference between Baptist, Christian, Catholic, Protestant. Like I always thought it was just Jesus Christ. That's the dude, right? Why is there so many different churches?
Yep.
I never understood why there's
I
so many.
don't know.
Mormons is another one.
So many
Some
schisms,
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, some guy from
just so many
1898.
schisms. Really.
Yeah, he knows Jesus. Oh, okay, all right. Well, then marry 7 people. That sounds good. That nice little loophole you found there. I don't mean to
Yeah.
offend any Mormons, anybody out there. I just try to make light at times, and at ill times I do that. Yeah, church is creepy, especially for children. I don't think to be a little hot takey. I don't think if kids are supposed to know anything about like big time life things like sex, racism, other elements of, you know, these things that we keep saying kids shouldn't have access to that. I think religion is one of those things. How can you say that a kid doesn't know what sex it is at age 5, but it knows what it believes in as far as the almighty that there is in all of the universe at age 5? I think that's a little silly, but that's just me.
Yeah, it was something that, I was told constantly growing up, but it was something I never really could identify with. It really was that I didn't feel like I fit in with
Mm-hmm.
religion at all. I didn't feel like it just wasn't for me at all.
Is it?
But spirituality.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Oh, it was just like I
Spirituality
think through addiction and yes, I've found a pretty solid spirituality if I actually get up in the morning and commit to doing the things I'm supposed to be doing to keep myself on track.
But isn't that a commitment to yourself? I know that the higher power, that the 12 steps and the higher power, I have a vague knowledge of that, but isn't ultimately the higher power your own willpower?
Absolutely, it can be. It can be anything that you identify with that's unique to you. So my God is not, I don't really have a name and I don't really have a face. It just
Clearly.
Is.
Quite
Right.
literally today.
No, quite literally. It's just, I don't know. I find comfort in just kind of going with the flow and kind of having acceptance for what's going on around me. And if it's my business, I handle it because it's mine. But I don't interrupt the flow of, I guess, the natural order. And
Mm-hmm.
things usually a lot better for me if I don't resist.
Right. And well, how does mental health play into the struggle that is juggling those issues?
I'm I guess in my core I self-medicate.
Mm-hmm.
I have terrible mood swings sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and I was diagnosed with bipolar 2, which means I have mild manias or hypomanias and severe depressions.
Mm-hmm. Heavy ups and heavy downs, basically.
Yeah, mild ups that aren't really they're not really dangerous. They're just noticeable, I guess, and more hyperactive.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then pretty bad lows.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, that bipolar really only affects me maybe once or twice every 4 years. It's not something that I have to cope with every day. What I do have to cope with every day is borderline personality disorder. That's more of it's kind of, it's a shaky foundation of emotion and mood swings. So it's something I have to cope with every day.
Can you explain that and break that down for an idiot who just hears BPD and thinks the most wretched, stupid internet shit possible?
Yeah, BPD has a terrible reputation. It's you can find it in Hollywood and movies like Fatal Attraction or like that one movie Swim Fan. Those are women who have traits of borderline personality disorder, the obsession, but most of us, we don't harm anybody. And,
Mm-hmm.
it's most of the time we don't. Some people have other things wrong with them and may do things, but we're actually people who have deep insecurity. We're unsure of who we are. We don't really know who our identity is. Um, our relationships, we get very attached to one person, and it's almost as if we need that person to function, and it's just an emotional roller coaster of ups and downs depending on your environment, and it's it's just a storm if you can't get it under control.
See, to me, with the exception of, well, actually, maybe not even with the, needing needing somebody around, or needing somebody to uh uh well, regardless, it sounds like what being a teenager is. That's everything you mentioned is basically what I would call what goes through your brain when you're a teenager.
But you're not wrong. It's almost like a regressive trait. And it comes from almost like a small child needing to be reassured constantly, and
Mhm.
you can see where for other people that would become a problem. Like, nobody really wants to deal with needy people who are
Right.
clingy and need constant reassurance,
Yeah.
so it's something you have to get under control. It's hard.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we're constantly progressing, and constantly finding different terms for things, and I can't tell me how many times I watch a movie, even 5 years old, where I'm like, "Yep, we don't say that shit anymore. That's not the way we talk about that." But the term high maintenance, I think, is something that could be applied to people in those situations, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, and I can say at at the very center of borderline personality disorder is just deep insecurity and almost like a vacuum of, like, just constantly needing that. And it's a journey. You have to. It's like my psychiatrist said. There's no real medication for BPD. There's just not. You can help symptoms, but you can't
Hmm.
really control that. He told me you have to get to know yourself. So I
Hmm.
use the 12 steps in AA to do just that. And I don't attend AA anymore, but I use the 12 steps to apply it to my personality disorder in order to be a little more self-aware of how I'm acting and how I'm treating other people, and kind of get a firm grasp on why I feel the way I do, and kind of trying to pause before I react in any kind of emotion. And it's helped to such a fabulous degree. It's almost unreal.
Can you wake up and tell if you're having a good or a bad day?
Yeah, actually, every morning determines my day. If I don't have a good morning, the day is going to suck. It's going to drag on. I'm going to be in a very bored mood, and I'm not going to be very inspired. I'm not going to
Hmm.
be really, I'll be kind of detached from the world.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, oh, a couple of years ago, I was diagnosed with mild agoraphobia, and it picked up for COVID. Um, and when it got bad, it got bad. You know, not wanting to leave the room. I don't. I can tell you. I know it sounds strange being in your own apartment, and knowing nobody else is there, nobody's going to hurt you, the doors are locked, and not wanting to leave a room. It sounds so abnormal coming out of my mouth. um but the best comparison I used to tell people is like, um if you put your hand near a stove that's on, uh, you 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 know you know what's going to happen if you put your hand there, and you know what it feels like, and you know technically you're going to be all right, but you never put your hand on the burner. And so for me, my mentality always was the doorknob was the burner, and it was just like, yeah, I know that there's nothing that's going to hurt me on the other side of that door, but I'd rather not have to experience that. It's similar but different, from what you're talking about. It's uh, I, what do you think, as far as I'll say nation, but I guess maybe I mean world, because even I started healing a little bit in Denmark by myself.
Awesome.
Uh, well, I came home and and that stopped that. Um, um, but there's this ridiculous stigma with mental health, and it still, like, if you watch movies about what they did with, I mean, they treated people who were mentally unwell like prisoners at times. Like, there's this ridiculous stigma with mental health, and nobody has the right way to explain, like, not everybody's not everybody's gonna, run around and shoot up a school. Not everybody's gonna boil a bunny in a pot.
Oh,
Uh, the,
no,
it's all a case by case basis. What do you think?
absolutely.
How would you think we would break through and get people to understand that, um, it's no different than when you feel happy. It's no different than when you feel sad. It's just a different or stretched out version of what it is they're experiencing.
Yeah, I think it's so important, and this is where, social media can be dependent on whose hands it's in, good
Hmm.
and bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, it's a wonderful tool for us to kind of come together and communicate and lift each other up and help each other and let each other know that, we're not alone. And I think if we keep talking and if we're loud enough, we'll finally get through the stigma. But we have to keep going. Like, we have to band together, and we have to stick together, because that's how we are at our strongest. And I think, for a lot of us, we feel so deeply, like, like em- empathetically, and sympathetically. I think we feel on a level that's just, that affects us emotionally. And I think it can be used for good if, you know, we just kind of, I don't know, face the world in a loving manner, if we can push through the pain and get there, if
I
that makes any sense.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think uh, Americans' problems seem to be that if they can't comprehend something, they just the empathy it just, you know it doesn't exist. I can't possibly imagine that. I'm sorry. And you're different. I mean, it's a very distant cousin to prejudice or racism or sexism. They're all very making your mind up about something that you have no idea what the other person is going through. It's
Absolutely.
it's 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 it, it's very, very odd. Aaron says, I have what my cardiologist calls cardiac induced anxiety. Isn't that essentially what anxiety is? Is your heart just racing?
Yeah. It feels like a heart attack. Somebody else said that. It really does. And then you start panicking because you think you're having a heart attack.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's not even funny, but it is.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I mean, I talk too much to my who's the one that prescribes drugs? Psychiatrist? Yeah. And he kind of, because I've been a stand-up comedian for over 2 decades now. And everything I just try to break down because it's language, emotion is way stronger than language, in my opinion. And medication. There is a comedian that you should say, hey, my grandmother doesn't take these pills for her knees because she says, how does that pill know to go to my knee? And the truth is, it's not your knee. It's going to your stomach, and your stomach is putting it in your bloodstream, and the bloodstream is bringing it to your brain, and then your brain is telling your knee, calm the fuck down. We got this.
Right.
It's all heart, blood, and brain. That's everything. I mean, that's how. When they do brain surgery, they can have you alive. Alive. They can have you awake, with your head just sliced open, and be picking at your brain, because that wire that says ouch, something hurts, isn't being affected.
Right.
They're just messing around with your head mush, and you're there talking like it's nothing. A lot of everything is just chemistry. It's chemistry, and how we were built, and we all were built differently, and we all have different chemistry sets on the inside, and our tolerances certainly develop lower and higher. And I couldn't tell you the shit that I when I stopped taking my medication. I mean, there was a point where I was taking in a day 420 milligrams of oxycodone hydrochloride, where people hear that and they're like, that's a lot. I'm like, yeah, I couldn't even get myself to sleep some nights. That I could drive, go shopping, that's a lot. That's a lot. I had to have surgery when I came back. This is after I tapered off. And it's funny how your tolerance doesn't lower down. Your tolerance just stays up there.
Yes.
So it is aggravating.
You don't even know where to start. It's like, do I take 5 or 10?
Yeah. Yeah. I used to take about 8 of these. I don't know if that's gonna kill me, but do I just take 1?
I'll just take 11. It'll be fine.
What's left in the bottle? Fuck it.
It'll feel good on my way out. It's fine.
Yeah. I was in the hospital. I had they rushed. I had a gallbladder surgery, and they did it like overnight. And she's like, we're going to give you Dilaudid. And she made it seem like it was a big deal. And I'm like, sweetheart, I've taken way harder than Dilaudid. I don't want to make you sound like, you're ruining a good time. But
right.
she had to give me 3 shots over the course of an hour and a half. And she checked in. She's like, you should be out. And I'm like, hey, do you want me to balance your checkbook or something? Because it ain't hitting. I am just fine right now. You're gonna have to do better than this. And it eventually they brought out the big boys. I remember I before my surgery, my first spinal surgery in 2010. They were giving me long-term OxyContin, those things that people used to peel the outsides off of and,
Back
and
in the
do
day,
yeah,
yes.
do the OC80s. I don't know what I'm talking
Yes.
about. If you know what I'm talking about, I don't know what you're talking about. Um, uh, and they switched me over to these patches, these weird clear
Oh,
stickers
yeah.
with jelly in them,
Yep.
and they were called Duragesic patches, and he says just put it on your chest, and it just constantly will regulate you. Later found out it was called fentanyl, and I was like,
Oh,
oh, oh, that's what I was taking, and people are losing their shit and killing
yep.
themselves over it now.
I have a friend who he told me he smoked a fentanyl patch.
Oh,
I'm like, dude, he's like, I should be dead. And I'm like, you
mm,
absolutely should,
yeah,
idiot.
yeah. I there was a point where like I would like squish it because there was like jelly in it, and I'm like,
Yes,
I don't know if it's hitting my bloodstream or
you're
what.
getting
Like
in there.
yeah, like just fucking go. What is your problem?
Get
I,
rid of failure.
there was like so many times where I was tempted just to clip the corner and just squeeze it like it was a fucking a gummy bear pouch or some shit.
A honeysuckle.
Yeah. Uh so how did you bounce back? I guess instead of
Well,
us Jones in here, what was your bottom?
my bottom, the beginning, this is where shit starts getting real, so buckle up.
Oh,
Uh,
all right.
so my bottom begins. I'm drinking either two of the huge bottles of white wine or a handle of spiced rum
Phew.
a day. And I had gained a lot of water weight, and I
Mhm.
noticed I start pitting in my ankles, which is pretty much like if you press on it, it stays like a Tempur-Pedic mattress. Your skin,
Oh, okay.
yeah, your skin's not supposed to do that. That's like an emergency. So,
Mhm.
but I went to the ER, and the doctor comes in, and he acts pissed, and he goes, "You have alcoholic hepatitis." And he's like, and if you don't quit drinking, you're gonna die. He's like, he's like, I give you maybe 3-4 months. And I at the time I didn't care. I was in such a bad depression. I thought surely if I died, it would be a burden off of my family and everybody around me, and it was fine. I didn't really care if I died. I think,
Mm.
at the time it had stopped being fun. I didn't want to drink, but I had to, like, just keep drinking.
Yep.
And it just got, I remember feeling like I was waiting for death, but death really never came. And I just, and eventually, what I tried to commit suicide because my husband, we it was abusive, and I just couldn't take it anymore, and I just took um, a shit ton of Klonopin, and had already had, I think, half a handle of um, whiskey.
Mhm.
But anyway, I knew I was gonna die, and my husband at the time, he called the emergency. He called an ambulance, and they came and got me, and I was furious because I just really wanted to die, and they
Yeah.
were talking about the marks he left all over me, but I remember being in the ambulance and the guy like shining lights in my eyes and them telling me to breathe and stuff, and I woke up in ICU, and um, they told me that my kids were gone and they were with my mother now.
Right.
And that was my bottom. That did it. That woke me up.
Mm-hmm.
But it was such, as weird as this sounds, to hear the words that they're with your mother was the most comforting thing I think I felt during that time, because
Mm-hmm.
um, I knew they were safe, and I knew that I no longer had to try to scramble for control. I could stop. I could stop now, and I could heal, and I could
Did
work on myself while my kids were with my mom, and I could get it together, and I did. I went to AA. I did everything that child services asked of me. Before they even asked anything of me, I went to AA. Got my stuff together, actually did the program, and I did relapse, but now I'm back on course, and I'm just doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm trying. You know, it's a struggle, but I don't think that when I just don't think about drugs when I think of a solution to a problem. That's not where my brain goes anymore today, and that's amazing.
Absolutely. Is part of the reason you decided to to attempt suicide was you didn't think of your mother as a possibility? Did you think that if you committed suicide, that the kids were gonna be with their father? Is that part, like, did the thought ever cross your mind? Hey, you know what? I can do this. I can check myself in somewhere, and the kids will be all right with my mom. Or was that not an option? I mean, listen, none of us think clearly. I attempted. I'll tell you a story to make you laugh, to show you how stupid I am with my attempt. But we're not never really thinking clearly. But
Uh,
did the thought ever cross your mind?
no, I think I was just so wrapped up in the thought that they were going to be better off without me ruining their life, and giving them that clean slate they deserve to have a chance in life. I thought I was hindering their um, growth,
Hmm.
because I just felt so toxic that it just felt like I was just spilling my toxicity all over everyone who loved me and who I loved. So I just thought it was better that way.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. That's shitty. Um, I'll give you my missed opportunity. Um, my as I told you, my father committed suicide. My wife, within a year at the time, wanted a divorce because she didn't marry somebody who was depressed. So that's not part of the deal. This isn't what I
Well,
married. I didn't get into this. So
fitness and health
yeah,
didn't,
yeah,
not really, not really feeling too much. Scary
yeah,
thing
yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, she just missed the supportive part of the
Right,
humanity. It was
exactly.
whatever. But I had this family in Denmark that was taking me in, um, and turns out something horrible happened where, like, financially, I couldn't I couldn't do anything over there. I couldn't feed myself. Like, I was stuck. So I had to come back. I had to come back to America. I went back to what was still essentially my house. And what I did was I locked myself in the room where I stayed for the 9 months that we were separated in the same house. And again, back to our how much we can withstand. I still had my oxy prescription, and I said, you know what, I take 420 in a day. That's about 9 pills, and I said I'll just double it. I took 18 30-milligram roxycodones.
Good Lord.
And 12 hours later, I have banging on the door. It's my fucking ex-wife. And she's like, your friend from Denmark trying to email you. All I did was have a long nap.
Oh my God.
I just had a long nap. I was like, what the fuck?
That damn tolerance. Damn tolerance.
I felt nothing. No headache, no nothing. It was like, that was the greatest sleeping pill I've ever had.
Feel refreshed.
But for a hot second, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm in hell!" Because she's here knocking on the door. I fucked up, and it took a good 5 seconds, and I was like, "Nope, I just slept. I just slept.
I didn't die.
I felt like an idiot.
I can't even do that right. Damn.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll email him back. What? What? Right, I'm still here.
Right. Guess I'll get it back.
Guess I'll take the garbage out now. Fuck, I'm trying to avoid that.
Back to my life.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And how long have you been on the up and up? How long have you been okay?
Now I did trip up on these freaking pills they sell at the damn gas station. They're a lot like pain pills, but they're banned now in Alabama, so I've been off of those for a little while. But
are you talking about it's brown dirt? It's
not kratom. No, it's
not kratom.
No, it's stronger than kratom. It's called tianeptine, or Tiana, or Zaza is the brand. Some people may know what it is, but it's a lot. Yeah, it's you could get it. Shit, you could walk into a gas station and get it and take the bottle, and it feels just like pain pills, just like
that. Freaks me the fuck out. I get scared at like gas station shit. Like, ever since like I forgot what it was when there was that bath salts craze, and that dude just run around naked eating people. I was like, yeah, you know, and I'm not buying shit from gas stations to get high.
See, there's where my addiction draws the line, is that I don't like stimulants at all. I will not do them. I don't want meth. I don't want.
Yeah. Well, you're a downer person like I am.
Absolutely. I like benzos, booze, and opiates.
Yeah.
And gabapentinoids too. Shit.
Yeah, well, it's I mean that's kind of the black and white of addicts and or alcohol. Well, maybe not alcoholics. It's people either want to be energized or chill the fuck out.
Right.
Like I don't know anybody who's, you know, just like there is no middle. I've never heard of a drug that, well, they're trying drugs that just make you feel normal, and they're called Wellbutrin, and they suck. And
I never was on Wellbutrin. I was on a list of other things, but never Wellbutrin.
Yeah. They just put me on a carnival wheel full of shit. Try this for 3 months. Nope. All right, try this. And I'm like, dude, it's depression medication makes I don't know. I hope they I hope they fix cancer first. Let me say that outright.
Right.
But depression medication, they don't know what the fuck they're doing, because
No.
there was a point where they put me on something, and she's like, try this, then take this, and like there was a point where I was taking like 8 pills at once,
Good
just
Lord.
for just for like, yeah, and nothing fun, mind you. It's just
Right.
fucking, take it to wake up, and don't forget to whatever. And I had lost 60 pounds in 2 months, and
Good Lord.
I was like, fucking, where was this when I like needed to make weight for fucking high school? This is bullshit. What I feel like
Right.
garbage. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to eat. That's for sure. And
Yep.
I still feel like garbage. So I don't know. You found a diet pill dressed as depression medication.
Right.
Um, uh, are you afraid to try to treat your BPD with? Do they have medication to treat BPD? Do they have medication to treat BPD? I don't know why I crack like that.
Technically, no, they don't. There is no medication for borderline personality disorder because it's a personality disorder. You have to learn coping skills to deal with that. But there are some drugs that I think personally I found that do help. I take a mood stabilizer. It's Lamictal. I take
Mm-hmm.
100 grams of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I take Luvox because I have really bad obsessive compulsive disorder too, like to the point where I can't even sit down because I'm too busy doing rituals. It's crazy, but Luvox is amazing. It's a
Wait, let me be a stupid idiot for a minute. Rituals? You don't mean like, burn candles in a circle and
no,
do a
it's
seance? Yeah,
no
just
to
habitually doing something like touching a
yeah,
doorknob.
yes, like to
Okay.
consistently act on a compulsion. It's
Okay.
totally illogical, and you know it's illogical, and it's completely
Right.
embarrassing. You still
Right.
have to do it.
Yeah. There's times where I don't know if you've seen The Aviator with Leonardo DiCaprio, where he plays Howard Hughes. The whole second half, like I can relate to half of it, where he's afraid. He washes his hands in a public restroom, and he's scrubbing his ass off, and like he just can't stop scrubbing. And the way it's shot is brilliant, because he's afraid to touch the doorknob, because he
Right.
just doesn't want it to, he doesn't want to get dirty. And like he's just horrified standing next to a door waiting for somebody else to open it. And I think that's what America needs. Unfortunately, 17-year-olds aren't going to watch a movie about a fucking pilot from 1935.
Right.
Um, I think they need some sort of pop culture way of understanding things, because that seems to be the only thing that really breaks through is pop culture.
Right. Something kind of more modern.
Yeah. Something that I don't know, something popular that. Oh, by the way, I know I'm your favorite TikTok star, but it just so turns out that um, I have a mood disorder, and I'm going to take you through that journey. And some people would flip. I'm almost certain of it.
Yeah. I think that's the way to do it. I think just for us, we live in a time where we can kind of have our own soapbox.
Hmm.
And to me, since this is a passion of mine, because I don't like to see people suffer the way I did and
Right.
feel so, it's this is a way for me to kind of, I guess, hold hands with other people who are, enduring pain and problems, and kind of, I guess, just be there for other people, because God, times suck right now. What else can you do but just be kind?
Yeah, that's a tall order, especially lately,
It
especially here.
is. It's very tall, but it's the answer. It's the only way, because it's this world can only have so much darkness, and I think it's just important that you know we take our pain and turn it into light, and help the next person who is suffering and enduring such a burden like mental illness or addiction.
Hmm. See now, how do you do it? Because first of all, I feel like my shopping cart is full, and if I'm not saying I don't want to help people, but there's certain times where it's like, there's things that I haven't even figured out about myself, and
Absolutely.
so doesn't that kind of worry you at times where you've got your own shit that you can't figure out, and somebody's got something deeper or harder to figure out?
Sure. And me personally, I don't ever claim to be able to help people figure anything out. I just simply like to listen, I guess, to be that shoulder for another person to cry on. And I don't do advice, because I just simply don't give advice at all. But yeah, I feel like sometimes, you can't really pour from an empty cup. But I feel like, sometimes helping another person with their stuff kind of gets my mind off of mine, especially if it's trivial and it's just racing thoughts. It kind of gives me a direction that's beneficial to someone else.
Hmm. That's interesting. I've never thought of it like that. That's yeah. You know what? I see more of that empathy talk. I always think about things like I've got way too much shit going on in my brain. I can't imagine somebody else's thing, but somebody else's thing isn't in my brain. Like yeah, I can help you with that. That's not what I lose sleep over. Sure, I can. Let's talk about that.
Sure.
That I can't believe that. See here, I'm a hypocrite. That thought didn't even cross my mind. um, and how is your relationship with your mom and your kids now? How long has it been, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I haven't had a drink in 5 years, and
Mm,
then
good for
it's
you.
uh, I want to say since October, since I've had any opiates. And it's my relationship, luckily for me, this trip up I had with the relapsing on these friggin' gas station bullshit, I didn't really lose anything, luckily, but mess up my finances. And
Hmm.
I mean, my relationship with them is great. I've switched my hours at work to be home a little bit more with them. And my mom, my mom has been my biggest advocate all my life for my mental health. She took me everywhere. She did all the research she could. She talked to my teachers. She talked to doctors. She did everything. And I think I don't think she ever really understood what was going on with me, but she knew I was in pain, and she's been wonderful. I love my mother. I couldn't do this without her.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Yes.
Well, see, you said you had a relapse with opiates, but truth be told, you tried fucking gas station whoozy what's. I mean, I take kratom for pain,
Sure.
and some people say, well, that's just it's the same receptor, and I'm like, yeah, yes and no. I mean, I can when I was taking opiates, it was 6, 10, 2, 6, 10, 2, 6, 10, 2. That it was like clockwork when I was taking that medication. Kratom, it's, you know, again, if it's humid, I'll take a couple of spoonfuls, and
Right.
it's disgusting.
Oh,
Um,
it is so nasty. Ooh,
yeah,
even capsules. Ugh.
yeah, and it's like it doesn't come close. Like it's not unlike opiates, but I wouldn't say, like, if you're looking, you know what, if this was the thing that I ran into, and how I eventually just stopped taking opiates, was eventually, like, I was tired of the habit. I was
Yeah.
tired of of, even like when I wasn't feeling pain, like it was like, you know, my body told me at, like, 5:50, like, you start getting a
Yep.
little sweaty, you start getting a little, like, shitty feeling, and it's like,
Yep.
yeah, I
Can't
don't
sit
I don't
still.
like this. What was that?
I said you can't sit still,
Yeah,
flopping around in the bed. Oh my
yeah,
God, I hate that the worst.
yeah, yeah, and it's so strange because before that medication, I would have been like, "Oh man, I got a really weird flu going on," but ever since the medication was like, "Oh nope, I need I need the little blue dot." Um, but at a certain point, I was like, I don't want to do this, and it you don't realize how restrictive, having a habit like that is,
Absolutely.
especially I was doing it legally too. I was prescribed it.
Absolutely.
So, it's just having to have it on you at all times, and
The
all of
ball
that.
and chain.
Yeah, yeah, you can't make plans. You can't be
No,
like, "Hey, let's just go to Mexico and, whatever, for 2 days." You
right.
you ain't doing that shit.
No.
Well, although Mexico, I'm pretty sure you can probably find
Yeah, you
live
probably. Yeah, you
you'd
probably.
probably be
You're,
covered in
you're
Mexico.
good. Yeah. It's anywhere. I mean, you could say Paris, and then that would be different, but Mexico's good.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you're
Uh,
good.
yeah, but at a certain point, I was just like, all right, well, like, yeah, this is gonna suck. Like, if I had to give advice to somebody who wanted to stop taking, things that control your life, well, I would say opiates, or something like that. I don't know, because alcohol, you have to taper, because, like,
Yes.
there's certain shit, like, even benzos, you can't just stop.
No. No.
Which is hysterical. There's all these things you can't just stop.
No.
You have to taper, and the thing you have to tell yourself is, the fun part is over. Like, we're taking this just as, like, maintenance. It's not. I'm not taking this for some sort of effect. I'm taking this just because.
Right. To keep me from getting sick.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
you gotta take a little less, a little less, a little less, a little less, and you know, I think I managed to taper down to what was 10 milligrams of morphine
Wow.
in 3 months.
Good
I
Lord.
I tapered the shit, and I gave myself like 3 or 4 cheat days, once a month, a cheat day where it was just like, all right, today sucks, and that was it. That, like, there, my dose was half a pill. I would take maybe 2 pills that day, and it was like, all right, that's it. Enjoy it while it lasts, because that's it for the month. And
Right.
you gotta be strict on yourself, and you've got to want to do it. It it um
You,
it's strange. It's very strange. Um, like, there's a lot of these shows and doctors that talk about certain things, and a lot of them, I think, are just full of shit, and
yes.
make a shitload of money off of things that somebody who makes far less money could be helping people out with. And
Right.
it really is, it's willpower. It's just telling yourself, the party's over.
Right.
We have to keep doing it, but we're not doing this for fun no more. We gotta just, take the not die dose.
Right. Fortunately, now a burden that you just have to ease off of.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
luckily to get off alcohol and the Klonopin, they gave me gabapentin, so I did not, and I still take gabapentin. It's wonderful. It's been they use it kind of off label for me for anxiety in lieu of the Klonopin.
Isn't that for nerves, right? For
Yeah.
like involuntary, like twitching and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's I think also an it's an anti-epileptic or
Oh, right,
something like
right, yeah,
that.
right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it chills me out. It's been wonderful.
That's good.
Yeah.
This is the second time I forgot to ask you, when you what made you decide to go with the gas station bootleg opiates, and how did you know that, all right, that that's a one-time thing, or was it a one-time thing, or like what was that experience like? Because people need to know that nobody's perfect, but we're all gonna fuck up.
Yeah. It well actually it was my husband. He was like my husband at the time. He was like here, try these. These are what my friend at work is doing, and I'm like, okay. So I take two, because naturally I'm I don't even ask what's in it. I'm
Yeah.
like, cool, okay. Um, and pills, okay, all right. And so I take them. I take two, and I'm like, because one is just simply not enough. But
Yep.
and I start feeling it, and I'm like, oh my god, these feel like freaking Laura tabs, and I'm like, these are amazing, and I was hooked from the get go because those were always my drug of choice. It was alcohol that almost killed me, but it's opiates that destroyed me financially.
Oh, so you were taking Lortabs, like Percocets and Lortabs, and so you were taking codeine and fucking your liver up with the Tylenol.
Well, no, it was just the opiates in the gas station. I never even had the prescriptions. I had them back to back because I had surgery, and that's honestly how I got started on that. I
Hmm.
had to have a lot of surgeries, and they kept giving them to me, and I absolutely loved them.
Yeah, yeah. The problem with
And I
Lortabs
don't
is they
understand
have that.
what Americans do. I don't understand with everything going on what we really care about. I let a lot of it go. The one thing I cannot handle,
What
the one thing
happened?
that I just cannot fucking wrap my head around is with all those things I just mentioned, the fact that we give a shit
Are
to
you
the level
there?
that we do about the royal family is one of the most unacceptable and ridiculous things. We we in the United States of America give a shit about this fucking family, this magical family. Oh, we watch their weddings like dickheads. Oh, is that right? Oh, is it? Oh, Paul, come on, we always have. That's real, Paul. That's real.
I'm
That's real. Yeah, that's
captivated.
real. Because every 10 falls for a pale ginger.
What? And I don't know what that was. Um, that was definitely a comedian who was joking about the royal family. And if you gave me another 5 minutes, I probably could have got you the comic. Shit. I don't know what happened. Um, perhaps. Oh, oh. Uh,
I don't.
There we
do
go.
you know what happened?
My phone went in like sleep mode because it's stupid.
His sleep mode. It went to I don't know what the fuck you call that. It as I when you get a chance, I don't know, mark the time or whatever, but go back and watch when you fizzled out because somebody was complaining about the royal family, and it was quite enlightening, and
Oh.
I was like I I don't know how to feel here. I this
I
isn't the
wonder.
person I'm supposed to be talking to, but
Weird. I wonder
yeah.
if it's because of my Bluetooth or something.
Oh. Oh, yeah, maybe somebody nearby is watching some weird
Yeah,
shit.
I just. There we go. I think it's done.
Yeah. So it wasn't like a one time only thing when you relapsed. It was a little bit of a gig for you.
Oh, it was 2 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was a
Oh.
pretty big collapse. Yeah. But see, it was I never really lost anything. No, my finances are destroyed. I'm having to rebuild my credit and everything, but that's really all the damage that got done. I'm healthy still, and it got bad. It really did, but it's just another lesson I had to learn. And honestly, I don't even regret it. I regret hurting people naturally, but I don't. I learned something about myself that I can apply later on down the road and kind of play this tape out and know next time, I can't have that because here's what happens. And it only takes one time for me.
uh, and what made you reach that stage at the end? What was it? Was it basically the same thing? Like, yeah, I'm wasting
Well,
everything here.
yeah, it was kind of like an emotional bottom, I think, kind of like you,
Mm.
where you just get tired of the race of
Yeah.
running here and getting money to do this, or else you'll get sick, and to me, withdrawal is hell on earth to me. It just
Hmm.
is the worst possible thing that could ever happen. So I panic when I think that's going to happen. And I just got
Hmm.
sick of the panic,
Mm. Mm.
constant
Yeah.
anxiety of whether I'm going to be able to get a fix or not.
It is. It's so bizarre. For somebody that there's these stigmas that people
Yes,
keep talking about, that that they'll say the most atrocious things about heroin, but
yes.
I was just at the dentist and they gave me Vicodin, so I'm gonna have a good weekend. And then it's like, hey, guess what, buddy? You're taking a cousin of fucking heroin, so
Yes, it is.
maybe you might want to look at things a little differently, because a year from now you could be selling your fucking Infinity to get a half a key of some H,
That's
just to
true.
get yourself by.
You
Uh,
never know when that monster is in you
right,
until too late.
right, right, exactly. And it's easy to talk about it from the outside, and
Absolutely.
it's just so frustrating sometimes. But and again, this is where I feel like if you take that word addiction and change it and break it down into different words, like I would have called what I had uh, dependence,
Right.
because well, I after my surgery, I told you this on your channel. I went to rehab, and you do the mock NA circle thing, and
Sure.
these people are telling their stories, and like I said, I was a functional, I didn't have financial issues. I was getting it prescribed. My insurance was paying for it. And, I was driving a fucking brand new Camaro, and then 2 years later, I was driving a brand new Land Rover. I was doing fine. It was like the stories that I was hearing. I'm like, I'm not that I have nothing for you people that's going to make you think that, oh yeah, no, he understands what I'm going through. And
Right.
I told you guys this story. The guy before me talks about how he had nothing left. He had nothing left. He needed a hit of heroin, and he begged his neighbor for $5, and he would have blown him for the $5 so
Yep.
he could go get a hit. And like that was he said that's when I knew I was at my low. And
Right.
they get to me, and I'm, keep in mind, still I'm just out of surgery, and I'm like, I don't my low was one time I went to the pharmacy 2 days early, and they told me
Right.
it's too, like, I didn't know what to do. Like, there's different levels
Yes, there.
of addiction and dependence, and I know that they didn't like this. I was almost kind of there to piss them off sometimes, because I said the same thing that I said to you earlier about the higher power. I said, I don't think we need a higher power. I think we need ourselves first.
Absolutely.
And the person in the group didn't like that at all. They're like,
Well,
well, just stick to the 12 steps. And I'm like, yeah, all right.
that's not
Well,
the way that's supposed to work at all in AA. You're supposed to be
if you
able.
work it, or
Yeah,
what whatever the fuck the phrase is, it works
it
if you
works
work
if
it.
you work it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be that way at
That's
all.
my motto for masturbation. That's
Yeah,
all. That's the only time it works.
that's muscle
But
up.
and not even then. Sometimes that doesn't work. But
You skipped that muscle day. Oh my God.
But there's like there just has to be breakdowns everywhere.
Yes.
Oh, Nikki, thank you. Nikki, if I'm not mistaken, you're close to me and of similar struggles.
No.
I hope you're doing okay, Nikki. But thank you. Odd decision to drop a super chat. I certainly appreciate it. But what I don't even know how to swing this around the corner and wrap this up. Robyn, what do you what 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 would you consider a success for you moving forward?
Success. I'm simple. So, like, just something.
Vanilla.
You're right. I don't really want much. I just kind of want a simple life. I just want simplicity, because there's so much chaos in my head, and I feel like when I have a nice, stable, and consistent and vanilla environment around me, that doesn't mean don't do exciting things, because I'm totally the type of girl that will wake up at 7 a.m. and decide to drive an hour and a half to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely that girl. Spontaneous as heck, but I need no chaos. None.
Yeah.
I need just chill.
Yeah, you're
That's
in my
it.
head.
That's if I reach a level of
No, you're totally. I could say the exact same things you're saying. I've been in such disarray for close to 10 years at this point where, um, you know what I would like? You know, when people say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I would love to say in the same spot. Like, if you could tell me that nothing's going to go, all right, I didn't mean to offend you. That was completely unnecessary. I got hung up on. No, I don't. I clearly I don't think that's the case. Robyn is clearly having issues with the phone again. But Robyn clearly, as I said, is basically saying everything that I was talking about. How much did you get? Or are you totally back? Are we going to hear from the comedian? Hello? I don't know what to call this interview. This is well, for those of you sticking around, we're gonna go from very serious to very stupid very soon. Shortly after this stream, I'll be talking about movies that I love that people hate. If you want to laugh and not have such heavy shit to talk about. But yeah, I think. How about now? I hear something. Are you there? Robyn?
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Hi? Hello? Nope, didn't work. Yeah. So, long story short, most people that turn to drugs, um, and this is kind of avoiding the mental health issue. You know, people with mental health already need assistance. You know, they're already at a disadvantage. Hmm. How about now?
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Hi.
What, what was the last thing
Oh
you
my
got?
God.
Did you get any
I
of
don't
that?
even know.
Oh, okay. Well, what I said was I essentially you were basically saying
I don't.
everything that I would have said. And I made a reference. You know, when people ask you that cliche, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I would love to give the answer in the exact spot. I just need calm. I need to know that what tomorrow's going to bring, what's Friday going to bring. And people, I think people who experience crazy shit just want like quiet and calm. And that's why like people who haven't really done anything mhm. And people who haven't really you always hear this about like upper middle class, you know, children of rich parents, like, you know, they just want to go fucking do something crazy because their life is boring. It's boring being stable for them, and they want to, you know, just start rocking the boat. Whereas people who have experienced the boat just totally rocking without you having any control over it are like, no, I'd like my feet on firm ground, please. And I think that's the main difference between people who experiment with drugs and alcohol and people who don't, who kind of look down on people who have experienced, you know, lifestyle has a lot to do with it. um the only functional addicts that I could probably think of are celebrities, and that's because, you know, they're like ridiculous rich. It's everywhere they go. And you know, the more and more, especially after that Johnny Depp case, the more and more you hear about it, like they work these 15-hour days and they use some serious shit to get some, you know, 5 hour sleeps. So when you hear about people like Heath Ledger, Philip Seymour Hoffman, um, you know, they're not experiencing the worst, but they, I don't know. I certainly can't speak to two brilliant actors who decide to turn to heavy sedatives to just relax while they work in intense shifts. Are you there, Robyn?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes. Hi. Um,
Yay!
so
Hi. Oh my
so
God.
so while we have you, why don't you deliver parting words? Because I have a funny feeling this is going to be a game of tic tac toe. So
I
what would
think
you
so
basically
too.
I what would you basically want to have achieved with this discussion?
Basically to let people know, like, I try to put my mistakes, I try to wear my mistakes so other people can see that, it's you're human, and you people mess up, and they mess up in their own special way, and
Mm-hmm.
this unfortunately is the way we fuck up, and
Mm-hmm.
it's we can get control of our lives, we can bounce back, we can come back from the dead. I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here to testify to that, and people don't have to be alone. We can talk about this, and if people call you crazy or call you names, then who cares? It's,
Yeah.
just keep going so we can be, united in this.
Yeah, and none of it's easy. Like that's it. Like
No,
life's hard, and getting over stuff like this is real hard. And like
it is.
I think as long as somebody else is there to say, I know. Trust me, I know. What do you bounce whatever you're afraid of off of me, and I can tell you whatever I can. I think the uncertainty
Right.
is what makes a lot of people nervous.
Absolutely. And I think, especially in recovery, I think we think, forest before the trees, and we don't see the small steps of taking,
Hmm.
because those small steps in recovery are the most important ones. Every minute counts, every single one.
Hmm. Yeah, and just like you told us before, you tripped, but you were able to get
Absolutely.
up. I mean,
I
again,
would.
none of us are flawless.
No,
It's the journey is, you know, it's got some rocks in it.
it does, and and it's important to look at that and learn from it and see, where did I mess up and where can I apply this next time where I don't make the same mistake. And
Mhm.
sometimes, man, I'm one of these people. Sometimes I have to make the same mistake over and over and over again
Mhm.
until finally I'm like, it's like a dog that keeps biting and you expect it not to bite, but it just keeps biting.
uh, do you have anything that you'd like to plug or social medias or anything like that? But before we head off,
just I guess my Twitter handle. I don't even know what it is per se. Like, I don't know. I'm so squirrely, but
I
in,
think I have it in the description if you're watching on
yeah,
YouTube.
that
So
I'm I just like people. So I mean, add me. I don't care. Like, I just post random stuff and sometimes mental health stuff and just kind of, I don't know, just and I'm available to talk to people if they, feel like they're alone. I mean, that's what I'm here for. So
I
that's it.
I I appreciate you doing this because people don't understand just how incredibly brave it is to talk about our own misfortunes and uh, that we're not perfect. Like that seems to be again a stigma in America. We don't talk about the mistakes we make for some reason, and to just come out and just so be so blunt and forward about it. I really, really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so important, I think, in my opinion, to be raw because this is real. This is real life and it hurts
Yep.
and it's a real pain. So it's just so in my opinion important to be honest about how I messed up and what I did wrong and how you can bounce back. Your mistakes don't define you as a person. You can't sit there and be angry at yourself for mistakes you made when you're sick.
Hmm.
It's okay to bounce back. It's okay to forgive yourself, but it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. It's incredibly rough out there. Incredibly rough out there. There's nothing to prepare you for anything. Like
No,
literally.
there isn't. There's no manual. You have to find out on your own. And unfortunately, for some of us, we have to find out the hard way. And
Mm.
that's me to a T. I've always had to.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see what this tastes like. All right. Well, that's all right. Let me try that again. Thank you again, Robyn. For Robyn, I have been Charles. Otherwise, you know me as CP, but the CP's a character who jokes about stupid shit. This was not stupid shit whatsoever. Thank you again, Robyn. Thank you to those in the chat. Thank you, Nikki, for the super chats. Thank you, Jay, John, Roger. I see Roger just popped in. Salisbury, Aaron. I saw your stories. Thank you. Trini popped in for a bit. Thank you, Dice. And Sky couldn't take it. I hope you're all right, Sky. I realize some of this stuff is rough, but hopefully, it gets better. That's we're just talking. That's it. Um, let's talk about some stupid shit next time,
Well,
huh?
thank you so much for, yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. And thank you for the people in the chat that are being so amazing. I mean, this is just what I want to do. It's great to it's very humbling, but it's just what I feel like I just want to do.
That's good. Well,
Thank you.
we'll get you a better connection, and we'll get you in here, and we'll talk about, I don't know, ice cream or something. Just something
That'll be,
light, some light
yep,
fare.
rainbows, unicorns, whatever you want.
All right. Well, thanks again. Thank you again. We will see you on the other side. The fire is coming.